Ayrton saw a shortcut over the curb at the chicane. It was so high, so aggressive. Some people would call it a barrier, but he took it. And while wise minds like Alain and Prost, if hearing the idea of hitting that curb, would say, that's not going to work. You're going to kill your momentum, kill your grip. It might break your suspension even. But before Alain got the chance to put a period on his sentence, he saw a strike in the mirrors. Ayrton Senna, from 13th place to right on his ass. Ayrton was 6 seconds a lap faster than some of these drivers on the road. And remember, Ayrton Senna was driving a Tolman. Prost was in disbelief. He put up his hand saying, stop the race, it's too wet, making it impossible to stay on track. Really, Alain? Does it?
It so does not!
On the infamous lap 32 of 76, the race was stopped. The clerk of the course, Jackie X, stopped the race. Alain stopped just before the finish line. Ayrton was the first one to cross the finish line, and then they decided the winner of the race from the previous lap. Alain was frozen cold to the bone on that day. He knew what hit him, but he was also in disbelief, not thinking it could be real. Confused and scared with his temples blown, he was not able to comprehend the frequency of Ayrton's driving that day. Alain's head was as the workers of the Tower of Babel, ready to self-destruct. He didn't believe it was possible what Senna did. His McLaren Fortress wasn't enough, so on lap 32 he ran to the system of Balestri and he saved him. Alain calmed himself down, trying to warm back up again by the fireplace, reminding himself that this is just about points, it's about the championship. And it wasn't cold anymore. Or so he thought. The problem is that was strange fire. The strange fire of ignoring conviction, getting complacent, depending on his system, all in the name of excuses. He couldn't take accountability. Keisuke used his loss against Takumi as raging fuel to motivate me to practice like a monk until he can point it right floor to defeat Takumi. What made him cold made him fast. His pride and arrogance motivated him to commit, whereas Alain's pride, that only made him shield himself, save face. His car was not his weapon, it was his nappy. Silverstone from Britain, Jacarepaguá from Brazil, Shanghai from China, Sochi, Barcelona, Paul Ricard, Mugello, Miami, Monza, Bahrain, Sepang, Circuit of the Americas, Yas Marina. All these tracks have something desperately in common. There is a smooth arrow straight road to prepare for something they call a braking zone, leading to a well-rounded linear angled turn. 100% full predictability. Undulations are foreseen and civilly structured if there are any. Super long straights to give a break for breathing room to mentally ease off before the next corner. Off track, the runoff areas are vast, giving the ultimate forgiveness, allowing you to be a bad driver. They are engineered for accountants. But this was the turf of Alain's mastery. It was his safe zone of predictability where he never needed to put it past 9/10. His car was not his weapon, it was his nappy. Enjoying the safe zone and not wanting to leave, Alain Prost was like a little fish in a sanitary pond. Whereas on the other hand, Ayrton with zero latency had taken the brave dive into the deep abyss. So when he came back to the sanitary ponds of the Formula 1 calendar, it was off. Ayrton Senna on the long straight got bored. He got annoyed, started daydreaming. What is this? Because the frequency of Ayrton Senna demanded not a civilized structure, but a flow. An infinite rhythm of fluid corners and undulations, raising his cornering top speed and sinking into a rhythm of flow. Variable grip, changing weather conditions, bumps. It sounds crazy, but this is what he lived for. The guardrails were not a scare to him. It was part of his geometry. We will get into the real reason later. He would find a limit, and as soon as he touches that limit, he realizes he can go a little further. Because he believed that limit as a checkpoint, not a finish line. There's no such thing. He was flying, and this is why he also loved Imola. The lightning fast, slightly cambered Tamburello that got slightly tighter in mid-corner, demanding full commitment to keep the throttle floored, to spit you out on the exit at top speed. High speed bend into hairpin. You see, the straight is not even a straight, it's a bend. Uphill exit to question the skill of your right foot putting the power down. Then there's a blind crest right before a left-hander. This is a corner asking you to point it right and floor it. well, left. And then it's another downhill left-hander. Fast left-hand downhill to slow chicanes, Acqua Minerale, leading to a lateral G pouncing uphill, traction-killing exit. These straights aren't for relaxing. They're for gaining a little more speed for the chicane coming up. The chicane is short and fast. You stay in the rhythm. Wow, if you know how to run it properly. All these corners will be the total opposite of pointed right and floor it if you can't do it properly. There's no middle ground from the most punishing track. Attempt of balanced murder in a right-hand crest leading to a downhill and double left-hand 90-degree corners. Like Touge's downhill corners, it has the biggest demand on perfect braking and nothing less. Unlike Road America that has a perfectly structured uphill braking zone. Fast chicane and traction killing low-speed chicane back onto the main straight to Tamburello. Imola was the frequency of Senna, and so was Monaco. But even Imola, it is a little kind. I mean, it's not a Touge, but when the waters were set in rage at the right location, a bit unusual for the accountants. That's when we saw lightning from the abyss. Champions that tried to keep up got paralyzed. Legends like Niki Lauda. Ayrton was often more than 1 second a lap faster. Adelaide is the chief test of driver awareness and patience. It's not some easy track. This demands calculation and precision. You would think just by that it has Professor written all over it. Alain Prost should be leading in his McLaren, but he's off. Alain's on the curbs. He's back on again. For the start of the race, Senna had been laying back. He dropped behind Alboreto in 5th place until they picked up the pace to catch Prost. Senna stays back until the perfect moment coming back up to corner 1. Alboreto takes the outside, Senna lunges down the inside. Prost has a mental breakdown. Brain GPU is overloaded. Thinking he's going too fast, he turns in too early. Goes over the inside curb. Bounces off. Senna and Alboreto bullied their way past the Professor. Senna immediately grew a gap to Alboreto like he was holding him up, pushing to catch Berger. He was closing the gap to 7 seconds, but he had overused his tires. He started sliding and he couldn't catch Berger. Berger went on a spurt, winning that race at Adelaide. On the greatest training ground that day, Senna learned how to manage his tires. Because I don't care if your engine eats up your tires, if the car has drinking problems. I don't care if you don't like the active suspension system. I don't care how inferior your car is. If it takes a Marvel hero to win in that car, well, whose fault is it that you're not a Marvel hero? Ayrton knew this. It was his own mindset, and so it was only going to be a matter of time.